According to the
Well,
Hello, everyone. I'm Darla Williams, and this is the Art of Learning Self-Love. And today we're going to do just an open forum and allow for others to just ask questions and for me to answer today. And all of this is in regards to self-love. And hopefully through today's questions that everybody else out there who gets to hear this recording later will actually find information that will be beneficial and useful to you as well. And I hope that I can actually meet the needs that are on the panel today. So I'm going to go ahead and open up. I think that we're going to start with Mark.
it's not necessarily, there will be questions in what I'm going to say. It's just what I need is guidance right now because I'm like, I feel that I'm losing part of myself. Hi, Dr. Janet. Good job here. I feel that I'm losing parts of myself in a way that, in a positive way. That things I used to do, I'm not doing anymore, and I'm doing new things.
Okay.
And new things that I'm doing are scaring the crap out of me. Just a quick, like what happened this week there. I was on a call with Mark. We did a clearing last emotional clearing on Tuesday. And it was about why do I have difficulties asking for help? And it went deep and we found out why. And it was like, I would laugh when I would tell that story, but it actually like really impacted me like deeply. Like I'll just go quick into it. It's I was 6 years old. I had to go to the bathroom. Like I was coming in from the park. I really had to pee, and it was like just hurting like crazy. So there's my neighbor's house. There's the corner of the street, and our house is over there. It's like across the street. But I knew I wasn't gonna make it to our house. And so that her front door was open. She was doing some gardening work and stuff like that. It was a nice sunny day. Her front door. So I ran into the door inside and I found the bathroom and I did what I had to do. I was 6 years old. So she was surprised and laughed a little bit, but she waved to my dad who was outside. And finally my dad got really like crazy mad and dragged me on the street. Physically, I couldn't have time to pull my pants up and all that. So that gave me like the paradigm that every time I go for my needs, I will get punished. I will get severely because I got a beating after that. I will get severely hurt. So we did the clearing, and it's very effective because the next day I woke up because most of I'm moving to BC like soon. One of my projects is one of the reasons why I'm moving to BC is I want to I want to build a sailing project to help kids coming out of jail. And so in my moving to BC, I didn't know what to start with. Okay, of course I'm gonna have to find work over there. That's not going to be an issue. But it's basically what do I start with? And like I have the I want to take care of horses over there, take care of birds over there, grow bonsais. I want to do the sailing project, and so I woke up, with those questions. I keep asking those questions, and I know the universe. I've decided to let the universe show me instead of me taking control, which is really very up until now difficult for me to do. Letting go. And so I woke up with that intuition. We'll start with the sailing project. I had the same intuition about a month and a half ago, and I didn't really, give it any thought. So I said, okay. So in the same day, that was Wednesday. I went on the website, how to open, because it's going to be like a society, a kind of a nonprofit organization. So I went on the federal website, the BC website, to go check it out. What do I need? Blah blah blah, and stuff like that. So, and then I had the intuition to do a fundraiser, and but the next day, that was a big day for me. Wednesday, like just going through all that and looking for work. I went into an interview and went well, the two masterminds, and it was like one of those days, And then on Thursday, I literally, like, I didn't do nothing. I took a break. I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna let it, you know, let that grow inside me. How do I feel about that? So the next day I woke up and at 9 o'clock I did the fundraiser. And to be honest, I felt like shit all day after doing it. And still this morning I woke up and yeah, I had problems sleeping last night. I said, what the hell do you do there? Why do you do that? Stupid, like all the paradigms that, just kept on coming up and putting me down.
The negative self-talk, the things that come up from our past.
Yeah. And then this morning, I'm getting, and the reason for there's three reasons for the fundraiser. One of them, yeah, of course, it's for money to get the ball rolling with the government, the paperwork and the licenses and the permits and all that, insurance, life jackets and da. But there's others, it's to let people know, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to BC for. So yes, I will need help. And it's normal that, I'm trying to understand, or I'm trying to like tell myself, Mark, it's a nonprofit organization. You need help, stop being that ego, whatever, you need help. That's the way it works. No nonprofit organization has worked without help,
Question
And,
for you.
yeah.
Have you done, you've done construction, right?
Oh yeah, lots.
Okay. So if I want to put a roof on the house, am I going to be able to go up there and put a roof on the house all by myself?
No.
You need
Well,
assistance.
you might, but
It's going to be difficult. I took the
Very.
hardest part of the entire job because we can hustle and we can pull up the walls. We can do all those things by ourselves if we have to.
Yeah, but alone on the roof, no.
But the roof, generally, we need a little assistance.
Yeah,
We
do.
need someone else to help us get it where we're trying to get it. It's not
Yeah.
going to just automatically go just because we're pulling a string or doing whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to use that as the analogy. When
Yeah.
you are going to cross that space for yourself, Mark, remember, I can't put the roof on this thing without
Yeah.
some other people.
Yeah.
So, whatever projects we're doing, we got to remember there is a team and we are supposed to connect, especially since it's going out there to help something with the youth. And I think what you're doing is absolutely extraordinary, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It's been in me for years. I was actually starting it before, like right when the COVID hit. I was actually starting it, like, seriously, and connected with a friend of mine who's a TV producer. We were supposed to do a movie on that, and there was a lot of, and then COVID hit, and you got it.
So, Mark, if you have a link to that fundraiser, like an actual typed in where I can set in a link, I would like you to send it to my messenger for your fundraiser. And when I publish this on my YouTube, I'll put it in the description about some of the subjects.
Okay.
So that people can see it through my YouTube as well.
Okay. It's on Facebook, so I'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
But I was listening to you and you were saying that you had been losing yourself, part of yourself, but in a positive way. I love that. You were like, I'm losing parts of me, but it's a good part, that I'm getting rid of this negative and I'm filling it with this positive. But I also heard that you're coming up against the unknown, and those things are really, so you're breaking through a terror barrier. We all have it. We have A, B, and C plans in life, and you're facing your C. You're out of the comfort zone. That's the C. We're out of our comfort zone. We're going the extra and we're going the distance for something more than just ourselves.
Yeah.
This is huge, but you're breaking through this and doing that. And I just want to point that out to you, that you're actually doing the steps and speaking it out. And that's the hardest part, is getting over ourselves. And you talked about the ego and how it gets in the way, our pointy finger self pointing at us saying, oh, well, who are we to do this? Who are we not to? I give you permission to step out and do the amazing things that are built inside of you, because that's what makes the difference. And we all are looking every day, outside of us for things, but when we dive into ourselves, it's when everything else around us starts to pull in and navigate to us.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen outside, it happens within. So I'm really glad that you are in that space and sharing that you made it through that clearing. But you keep coming up to the why questions and asking, you're in this why place for clearing and
Yeah.
doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's really great that you shared that, because that is how we get to the next level.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this? Oh, well, this is the reason. So what is this? Why do we do this? That brings us to the next one. And the more we go into the layers of the why, will bring us to the root cause of what's happening with us. So I absolutely love that you're sharing that part. It's really important. Now, I also saw that following your intuition and listening to those inner thoughts, you found that you were struggling, but you're finally accepting that you got to go with the universe and let the universe work for you. And due to the fact that you come from some of the damage areas in your life, because like you shared with being punished for taking care of your needs, you lost trust very early. So trusting that there's something that takes care of you when you've had such an example of things not taking care of you, it's really difficult to navigate that and actually know what's right, wrong, or indifferent. So I'm really glad that you shared that. I appreciate that, because that was bringing a lot of content into what we're about to, what we're discussing. So out of that, what was your real question?
How do you navigate, like asking and receiving? How do you navigate? Because it's so difficult when you haven't done it before to receive like humbly. Like, I had somebody that said to me, okay, I'll put you up on my webpage, and if there's no money coming in today or tomorrow, I'll set up a time with you. Maya Carr. Yeah, and she says, if we'll do a clearing, I'll do a clearing for free for you, for the kids, and it's like, it chokes me when people, send me help.
So navigating the asking and the receiving.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start, give me just a second to pull up a scripture, because I want to use a scripture in this place, because that's how I got here.
I also want to offer something to Mark after you're done, Darla.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So this is something that I learned about asking for help. There's a different way of looking at it, Mark, because people genuinely like helping other people. I know that, it makes you feel good when you offer help to other people.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from the point of view, if you don't ask for help, you're actually robbing the other person of the joy that they would have gotten from helping you. So you're doing a disservice to others by not asking.
Well, that's cool. It's things I knew, but it's good to be reminded. I forgot about that.
So what I want to put into this place is, scripturally, it says, therefore, okay, Matthew 7:7 says,
Right.
ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door shall be opened. So if we're looking at the scripture of it, it's ask and you shall receive. You can't receive without asking. If you're not seeking to find, how are you going to locate? And if you're not knocking on those doors, how is it ever going to open up to you? So we were given a specific structure, ask and you shall receive. But in that, what is also is holding on to that childlike, imaginative faith space. If I ask you, I got to believe that you want to help me because I have a legitimate reason to ask the question. When you're asking, say you decide to go and ask businesses to contribute $100 or $50 because they're a business. They need places to donate monies anyways,
Yeah.
right? So say you're going out and you're going door to door. Hey, you know what? We're going in and we're asking. If they say no, that's okay. You're just looking for the next yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about taking those no's personal. It's about realizing they had an opportunity that was laid before them and they could contribute to that opportunity, or they don't have to. It's just as much their right as it is ours. It's ours to ask and it's theirs to give if they choose. Those who it resonates with and they believe in what you're doing are going to wholeheartedly want to be on board because they're going to see the option. You can also look, since you're doing nonprofits, you have organizations and things out there that will probably really fund what you're doing because they're youth programs that are looking for activities for the youth. So that would be a definite space. And then being the nonprofit, you can also pull on the government fundings that are for those things. They're going to help you to launch. So, you know, when the stinking thinking gets in the way, just remember that's what it is. It's my stinking thinking and it's screwing me up.
Yeah.
So out of that, what you're going to want to do is literally go, move you out of the picture. You're doing this for the kids.
Yeah.
This isn't about you having something. This is, how do I bring this to these kids? That's your why.
Yeah.
Helping to be an example that was the example for you.
Mm.
What rearranged you and changed your life, you're now being able to give back.
Mm.
So whenever your thought process gets in the way of going, I don't know if that's possible, or, you know, am I asking too much? Should I ask this person? Or you should have a 3-foot rule. You should be asking everyone within 3 feet of you, because this is a solid, good option and idea for kids to literally clean them up because they had such a wayward life.
Yeah.
How do we get them to a place that's going to teach them, to nurture them, and give them the love that they needed all along, that they didn't have, and that's why they ended up so far away, because they don't have any clue? You are providing that. So use that as a vessel for you to be the reason why. I'm not here because I want anything. I'm here because I want to give to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I want to enrich another because it enriched me.
Yeah.
So that's how, when you're asking, you're not asking for you.
No.
Think of all of those images that are in your mind of all those children, of all of those youth that you know. Think about how desperate you were when you landed there. And hold that as your fuel to make sure that they get what they need. Because then it shifts it into a better space. So it's not about, well, yeah, I'm doing this whole project. The project isn't for you, for others. You just happen to be the person who has the wonderful idea and can find all the people that are going to help to make that possible.
That's really cool.
So, there's some affirmations I just wrote in the chat for you, Mark. You can copy and paste that somewhere and read that every single day, maybe even a couple of times a day, when you find yourself questioning or feeling uncomfortable.
Ooh, I want to read this out loud. Is that okay with you,
Sure. It's okay to
Lorraine?
Yeah, of course.
It is okay
say,
to ask for help. I will allow myself to give joy to others. I will trust the process. Asking is a gift that benefits everyone. The person I ask, myself, and the person who I will help in turn. Asking equals loving. Oh, we're going to keep pulling down. Hold on. Asking equals giving. Asking is necessary to spread the love.
that is really nice.
That is
That's powerful.
absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful, Lorraine.
I
That
could
is
al-
Lorraine Rego. How do you say your last name?
Regularly.
Regularly. That was not my words. That was Lorraine's. Like, just so
They're good.
everyone knows.
I felt them. I really felt the power of it. That's so cool.
I just copied and pasted that in the Facebook chat for you, so you can have that. You won't lose it. There's at least another copy of it there.
Perfect. Now, Lorraine, do you have any questions, hon?
I'll start with a comment on what we're just talking about, because for me, asking for help used to be, in my perception, a sign of weakness. And I was always a strong, independent woman who, you know, I don't want to admit that I have any weaknesses, because then that's, that's admitting that you're not perfect. And for me, perfectionism was always played a huge factor in my life. If it wasn't perfect, it wasn't good enough. And it took me a really long time to learn that, number one, no one is 100% perfect, even though we strive to be. We always strive to be better people. There's always room for improvement. And it took me an even longer time to realize that asking for help is actually a sign of strength, a sign of courage.
That
And
is awesome.
almost closer to, to the idea of perfection, because it raises the awareness of yourself. So you're actually a better person for knowing that you need help, that you want help, and that you can receive the help.
Yes.
Because like you said, you can't put a roof on by yourself. People need people. No single person can go through this life alone.
Exactly.
You can live alone, sure. But at some point, you're going to need somebody else. You're going to need food. You're going to need to go somewhere. You're going to need to do something, and you're going to need other people for that. You're going to need people to build that car that you need to get around, or the bus, or whatever. You're going to need someone to, prepare that food for you to buy at the store. Like anything that it boils down to is people need people. We need people to help us feel better. We need support. We need encouragement. We need to be nurtured. We need to be loved.
Exactly.
This is just a fact. And once I really thought about things from a different perspective and a bigger picture, and like you said, it's right even in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. Anytime I have asked for help, I have gotten it. Why? Because I asked. I needed to ask. It was always there available to me. I just had to ask for it. And, the more I started asking, the better I felt, surprisingly. So, Mark, you will go through a period of transformation, like even more than you have been this past year, because I've seen you
We both
transform.
have.
I've
We
seen
have
you.
both watched you just grow by leaps and
Yeah, and it's
Thank
beautiful
you.
to see. It's so nice to know that, the things like I've offered several things to the, in the group chats, like whether it's resources I've put together or resources I've shared from other people. I love offering my help, my skills, and my knowledge to people. That makes me feel good. I love helping people genuinely.
Mhm.
And that's why these affirmations about looking at how do I look at receiving help? How do I look at asking for help? All of these things need to be reprogrammed into your head
well, our
because,
mind is what? Our mind is a computer.
Yeah.
It is taking in information around us and computing it every single day, and from birth all the way to where we are today. So we have underlining programs or paradigms that are controlling and navigating who we are because of what we've been exposed to throughout our years, as well as we have the option, and our mind is so amazing that we can literally take and change that story and begin to live the life that we really want to live and empower ourselves through the affirmations and to build the confidence within us to go. So go ahead, Lorraine. Sorry.
yeah, it's that's exactly right. And I mean, Mark, you can add a sentence to that paragraph that I just wrote about asking for help. And you could say, up until now, I didn't know that asking for help is a necessary part of life. Up until now, I didn't know how good it was for me to ask for help. Up
You
until
brought
now,
so much
I
today.
I was, I was stuck in the past, my past paradigms. You know, now now you have this newfound knowledge, and as you go through and continue to ask for help, you will receive it. Like it's there. People want to help you. I mean, I like even take a look at the last couple weeks. I've said to
Mhm.
you, Mark, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to message me. Let's have a conversation. My help was already offered before you even asked for it
Mhm.
because I know that this is an area that you struggle with. And so I wanted just to keep reminding you, like, help is there. Help is there. I am here. Like, so are so many people, and the other night, like, was it not last night, the night before? I came home from my mom and dad's house, and my dad had fallen again. And I had to call my sister to come and help me get him off the floor and up at least into a wheelchair so that we could transport him to the bed. And it was a really hard time. Just so much went on that night because, I said to my mom, it seems like it's not safe for you guys to live alone together anymore. Um, like what would have happened if you would have gone down with him and then neither one of you could get to a phone and you'd be lying there until one of us kids came and found you. Like, do you think that's something we want to walk in on? Do you think that's something you want to have happen? And, it was like a real eye opener for them that,
Right.
okay, we got to start taking, more steps now to either get one of those things where it's around your neck. I've fallen and I can't get up. that alerts a
Life
security
alert.
company or life alert. Exactly. Um, uh, we're going to have to get home care reinstated if we can. All these kinds of things, and trying to figure out like the next steps, because honestly, my dad's not getting better, and he's not going to get better. He's got cancer. He's got a tumor that's growing. It is going to eventually kill him. There's no changing that fact. So even though he might get better from his broken ribs, he's still not going to get better from the cancer. So it's like he knows this is nearing the end of his life. Like, he knows he might only have a few more months to live. The
So,
reality of the whole situation is everybody's having a hard time accepting it. My parents are having a hard time accepting that they're losing their independence.
mhm.
It's not easy.
That's what every older person goes through when it gets, that last chapter of their life before they pass. And, I'm having trouble witnessing this in them. I'm having trouble accepting that, okay, I'm probably going to be losing one of my parents very, very soon. And it's so hard. I mean, I knew I was going to struggle when it came time, and it's like this time is now here. And I wasn't there's no way that you can actually prepare for it. You can know things, but there's,
Right.
knowing and going through something are two different things. And, and I always kind of figured like, okay, well, when they're not well enough to care for themselves, like they'll get put into a home and everything. But it's like, now when we're faced with the actual possibility of this happening, there's so many obstacles in the way, because there's waiting lists for the homes. So what do they do in the meantime? How are they supposed to care for themselves? They can't afford to hire somebody to be with them 24/7. Money's an issue. Just barriers in the way of, like, I don't have a vehicle and I can't just like boom, hop in a car and go over there because I don't have a vehicle. If they need something. My sister lives out in the country. She's a 20 to 30 minute drive away. So like, she can't just be there. Whereas I'm only a 5 minute drive away, but I don't have the vehicle. She has a vehicle. So it's like all these different things are just, annoyances getting in the way of everything. Um, the weather where I live, it's winter. Like, it just snowed another like half a foot or whatever yesterday, and it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to have to go over there and shovel again. And, I'll probably be doing that tomorrow when my sister comes back to town. She was planning on coming in Sunday. We're having to do extra things. Like, I've got more work added to my schedule now, because now I'm grocery shopping for her. My sister and I are doing all their errands together. My sister's got more added to her schedule because of that. And then at the same time, because when we're doing errands for them, I'm also doing my own errands, my own groceries, my own stuff, which is, taking time out of my sister's schedule to, for her work and everything else. And it's just like,
So,
it seems like just a snowball effect all around. And it's, I mean, fortunately, like, I'm trying to look at the good things. I'm trying to look at the fact that, yes, we can still all be together and see each other, and we can all help each other. And, I'm grateful for the fact that my sister's been so willing to pitch in and help.
mhm.
Um, because like up until now, when my dad was driving me, he was able to drive, so I was the one that was doing it all. So it's good that my parents have the two of us.
Right.
They're both super grateful, and I'm grateful that I can actually give them the help that I can give them, because like when it comes to cancer and stuff, like you feel so helpless.
Exactly. Now,
And
I
that
have a question for you
and
in that space. When during this, because you are navigating something that is so heavy and so relevant. I mean, this is something that a lot of people have and had to endure, losing those that we love, acknowledging that there's a health issue that is not resolved, that there's no resolve for, and that it is an ending process. In all of that, navigating all the new tasks that you do have and going through that, knowing that you are spreading yourself thin, are you able to still manage a time that you are able to take care of your own needs,
Mhm.
emotionally, mentally, while you're going through this? The importance of self-love.
yeah, that was something that I was initially struggling with, and I seem to have somewhat resolved that, by letting people into my life and asking for help and support from the people in my noble Goldman groups that I'm a part of. um just the other night I posted, like, things are changing quickly, and like if anyone's around right now and wants to talk, like feel free to reach out. And somebody actually did, and I had a voice conversation for an hour, and I was like, I felt so much better after that. So I know, for me, I know that strategy works, asking for help and talking to people. um just being able to express myself through my voice and hearing someone else's voice and having a conversation that strengthens my relationship with that person as well as helps me. So it's like everybody wins.
That is
um
that is really awesome.
and then what I've also been doing is I've been allowing myself to just sit quietly with my thoughts and my emotions, and allowing myself to feel what I'm going through. Because
So,
anytime I started feeling emotions in the past, I would be like, they would come up and I would ignore them. I would tamp them back down and I'd be like, hey, I don't want to deal with this now. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to
well, the
do.
denial is the first stage, of
And
any grief. That is the very first stage because we don't want to accept any of it. We want to feel that, you're looking at your dad, in some families, the dad is like, wow, okay, dad took care of everything. He paid the bills. He made sure there was a roof over our head. He made sure all these things were taken care of. We don't want to watch the one person who was our structure, even if it was bad and abusive. We don't want to see them weak because we knew they were strong, and
yeah,
that's hard to come
and
up
it,
with,
and it was, like, I remember a few years ago I had written a poem because my i- I've watched my dad lose his bigness, if you will. Like, I used to look at him and think, like, well, at the time I wrote my poem, I looked at him like, somehow, my dad seems smaller today. And,
mm, those are powerful words. My
you
dad's
know,
smaller today.
yeah, and I wrote a whole poem about it. I'll find it and share it with you another time. But
Okay.
um, it was a lot came out in the poem, because that's how I express my feelings sometimes, is through words and poetry.
Mhm.
And, and then like the other, like couple nights ago when I was over there and he fell and he was, sitting on the ground, unable to get up by himself. So like completely helpless and totally dependent on someone else to help him. And I took a picture and I texted my sister and I'm like, look, this is the situation here right now. Like, you got to come and help me. And,
Right.
just seeing him,
Take yourself a second.
it's hard. You know? And it's not something that it's like you can just deal with one day and then, it's gone the next. It's like, it's an ongoing feeling, an ongoing process.
It really is. But that is the one key to all of it. It's all a process. No matter what journey we're on, no matter what experience we're in, and remembering that we're just processing and falling in love with the process. Some days it's difficult to fall in love with it, but knowing that we have a process can bring us to the next stage. So we know that this is ever changing. When you were talking a little bit ago, Lorraine, I wanted to add in here a bit about seasons and change. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die. So the very first part of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 is in regards to the time to be born. So we have a life, we've been given breath. We have a process. The minute we're born to that process. So this isn't something that we don't recognize. We know we're all eventually coming to this place, but we get so comfortable in the experience that we forget the process. Nobody wants to face loss. Who wants to lose anything?
Well, yeah, nobody exactly.
Who wants to lose? We want. We are gatherers, we are collectors, we are, story makers, we are storytellers, we're creators. So if we're about creation, why would we want it to end? The
So
one
another thing that I was doing was taking time to, do some reflection upon, about my day, about what happened that day, what came up for me, what didn't, just different emotions. And, like I said, sitting with myself and just allowing myself to feel whatever it is that I'm feeling, to help myself,
that is
adjust.
important.
And honestly, the last several days I've been finding, like, I've been looking forward to that alone time to process stuff. I'm actually now, instead of running and hiding from it, I'm running towards it. I really I look forward to that time to just be able to sit and be alone with my thoughts and think about, the good things that I've been doing, all the, different things that have been making a positive impact on not just my life, but the lives of people around me. Doing what I can to help, because, and that ties in with, with Mark and how the whole asking for help thing, because when you feel helpless, like,
Mhm.
no one likes that feeling. You always want to do something to feel helpful.
Right.
And so, what I started even Googling the other night, like looking for different alternative places that will maybe offer some solutions to my family that they're not being currently offered. I came across one place in the United States that offers the injections into the liver with also low doses of chemotherapy and some other stuff. And they had a form on their website that if you have any questions, fill it out. And if you even want to call from one of our employees or specialists or workers or whatever, they'll call you. So I filled out this form and I actually asked them to call me, and they called me yesterday.
Oh, wow. That's really impressive.
And this was just from the night before. Yeah, it was the next day. It was just so amazing. And I found out that there are some treatment options that would require him to travel to the United States and be somewhere for, like, they said usually 3 to 12 weeks.
Is that something you're going to talk to them about, or?
Well, I'm going to mention it to them, but the fact of the matter is we're not going to be able to do it because the number one costs $30,000 to start. It would require 3 to 12 weeks of time and accommodations. My dad wouldn't be able to go alone. He'd need to go with somebody.
Right.
Um,
So it's double the
I'm
accommodation.
I'm technically not allowed in the United States for, I don't know, some reason from long ago, which probably would change now, but my dad also doesn't have a passport. I don't even think they have $3,000, never mind, 35 to
30,000.
40, 50,000. Like, it's just not an option. If he was a millionaire, sure, then we could look at that as being an option, but nobody in my family has that kind of money.
Well, the average person doesn't have that kind of money. That's
Yeah,
just the truth.
exactly. So I mean, so that's probably, so then she also had given me a couple of resources. There was one website, the cancercare.org, that offers like support and some financial assistance and some co-pay stuff. And anyways, it's all for US and Puerto Rico residents, and I'm in Canada. So none of that was
makes it
helpful.
very difficult,
But
because of
at
relocating.
least I felt better for trying to help. I did what I could, like and I'm still, like, she also suggested getting a second opinion.
Right.
And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a call in on Tuesday to the cancer clinic that my mom's been dealing with here, and see if I can find out why the treatment that they initially offered to him is now no longer being offered to him, because they said that there's nothing more that they can do for him. There's nothing they can do for him, is what they said. And they did mention these injections initially, and then now they're saying that that's not an option. But no one told us why. So I want to find out why.
Okay.
Because no one told us why these are no longer an option.
Well, I want to bring you up to where we're at, because I know that where you are right now, you're in your feelings, and it's very important to hear them, Lorraine. I'm not trying to cut that, but we are at the end of the hour, and
Yeah.
I
Okay.
know that we have other calls that others need to go to, and I wanted to make sure Mark didn't have anything else that he wanted to impart. And thank you, Mark, for showing up today. I appreciate you and your input as well. If you can send me that link, I want to make sure that it goes in when I go to upload my stuff later for YouTube, so that you have that. that plug. I want to make sure that it's plugged for you
Sure, really
because
appreciate
I think what you're doing is extraordinary. So thank you so much, Mark. And if you got to go, go ahead.
it. Okay, thanks again, hey, both of you, Lorraine, man. Yeah, you're so courageous. It's crazy. Love you.
Love you
both.
too.
So I'm going to go ahead and in the recording. Thank you so
Okay.
much for being at the Art of Learning Self-Love today. And I hope that our topics today helped to shed light on your situations as well.